The Trade Department is taking the heat for meddling in the kitchen. The agency proposed standards in cooking adobo and other popular local dishes for international promotions. But many believe the suggestion, although not mandatory, is ill-timed because of the pandemic. Let's get the view now of the adobo queen herself, Chef Nancy Reyes Lumen. She joins us live from Houston, Texas. Hi, Nancy. Great to have you with us. So, should the Philippine government standardize the adobo recipe?
I can't answer that yet, but what I'll say is it was a very rude awakening for us when that came out. Because, you know, the word standardize is so stressful and intimidating. Maybe they could have just not started with adobo because, you know, adobo, it hits at the gut of the Filipino. Yung bituka niya is really an adobo. And, you know, adobo is part of our culinary DNA. And maybe they could have had a survey first, like a beta site, and then find out what, you know naman, Filipinos, when you make them participatory, okay na.
That's
right. But if it becomes a select group, an elite group, then, you know, they feel they're being thrown out of the window and they don't have a say.
That's right. There's been so many comments on social media. Do not interfere with our national dish, the adobo. There are 7,100 ways in cooking the adobo.
Correct. You know, actually, it puts that committee in a bad light without them wanting to be. Many people have told me, Nazi, come on, i-face off mo or harapin mo. What's your comment? But you know, we have to balance it. Just like adobo, you have to balance the asim, the alat, the umami. So, hinay-hinay tayo.
Wow.
We cannot, you know, but you know what? Adobo kasi, it's a property, okay?
Yeah.
You cannot meddle with somebody's property. Everybody owns their own adobo. Some of them have a deed, a title deed to it owned by their lola, like me, my lola, di ba?
But share with us now. Share with us, how do you cook your adobo?
Okay, my adobo is kind of blasphemous. That's why I know it's not going to be standardized. My adobo has 1 part suka, 1/2 part toyo, and I add oyster sauce a little for the umami. So a friend of mine, a foodie, said, hey, that's blasphemous. But you know, this is how we do it here in Houston now, so that people will understand. The balance of the sourness, I have to balance that. But I don't like adding sugar. Because baka maging spaghetti na naman tayo, yung matamis na spaghetti.
Wow. Okay. I mean, just mentioning suka, toyo, oyster sauce in your adobo. I mean, it's 9:25 here in the evening, and it's really making me hungry. I want to taste the adobo of Nancy Reyes Lumen.
Me too. Actually, Rico, you know what? My guests here, when I have dinners, they are hardly any Filipinos. And when I serve adobo and I explain it to them, then they understand. Even if I tell them, hey, it's oily because it takes a lot of cooking. And, you know, it's really just a manner of telling them nicely how this is done. Don't be scared. I even joke them, hey, don't be scared. This is a Filipino dish. It's not a recipe. It's how we cook it. It takes long simmering, loving, patience, and all that. And then when you put all that to the character of adobo, then the DNA of adobo becomes more global, more romantic, more inviting, more interesting.
Yeah, each adobo dish is truly unique. And I'm also just wondering, no, Nancy, do other countries also standardize their own national dishes, like Italy's pasta, Japan's sushi, the British fish and chips, or the American hamburger? No, there are hundreds and thousands of ways for it to be done. There are all kinds of recipes. We don't have to do this to our adobo.
No, I think they were after the framework of Thailand when they tried to standardize some Thai recipes and it clicked. Maybe what I can suggest is, why don't you develop an adobo product? Some already companies have done that with powders, the big food producers with sauces. Make one that will really say Philippine adobo. You don't announce it muna kasi they should not have really just, smack announced it. I know that they were very proud to have the elite chefs doing that and also the industry leaders. But what happened to the rest of us? We felt abandoned. And Rico, can I say something personal?
Yes.
I really kept myself from talking because I don't want people to think that just being the adobo queen, I'm threatened. Actually, I'm not. I just feel that adobo should not have been the first one that they have to work on.
What do you think should have been the first dish that they should have worked on, if not the adobo,
Yeah.
Nancy?
Dapat hindi.
Which dish then? Which dish then should they have worked on first?
Maybe another dough dish like adoba, a fritada or I don't know, mechado or something. Kasi adobo is so close to our hearts. It's like you grab he's eating something and then you grab his. So nakaka-disturb.
Thank you so much for your views and opinions on the adobo. We really appreciate your joining us on The Final Word. Adobo Queen, Nancy Reyes Lumen, joining us from Houston, Texas.